In this video, I want to give you a quick overview of the Pipo configuration page so that you can see what you can do and how is it structured. So on the left, I opened the page of a Pipo analog, and on the right, the page of a Pipo motion. The Pipo analog right now, as you can see on the top left, is configured in MIDI mode, and the Pipo motion is running in OSC mode. On the top right, you have the battery information. So here the Pipo analog is plugged and charging, and the Pipo motion is running on battery. Right below that, you have three buttons. The first one is about the general Pipo settings. The second one is about the Wi-Fi connection. And the third one is a play-pause button to stop the data flowing to your device if you need to pause the data. I'm gonna open the general settings panels for both. You'll see they are slightly different whether you are in OSC or MIDI mode. But let's start with the one of the Pipo analog in MIDI. So that main switch allows you to switch between OSC or MIDI. The next one is whether you want to enable the Bluetooth low energy. If you want to connect with another device that has Bluetooth low energy. One thing to know is that in MIDI mode, the MIDI data will always flow to USB. You just can choose whether you also send it over Bluetooth low energy. The next field is the Pipo name. Basically, it's only useful to change it when you have multiple identical Pipos, like if you are working with, for example, 2 or 3 Pipo motions. Changing the name allows you to change the name of the Wi-Fi of the Pipo and also the name of the page to access it, so that you can distinguish them, otherwise they would be identical. When you are in OSC mode, there are a few more settings available because you also need to tell people where you send the data. So that's what are those settings about. But there will be a video about setting up OSC, so I'm not going to go into the details right now. The next section I want to cover is the big section called channel settings, because that's where all the configuration of your input to output processing will take place. So there is a first section where you can select what you're gonna edit. So that's that big first section here. And below are the settings that correspond to the selected channel. So in the selection panel here, you have the categories on the top. So here I can choose between my two main input categories for analog, which are the analog inputs, the voltages, or the touch. And right below, I can select which channel I'm currently editing or viewing. It's the same in the Pipo motion. As you can see, you can select the different categories, and within the categories, you have the different channels you can edit. When a channel is selected, you can see that this one, the text is in yellow. That means that the channel is enabled, and this one, for example, is disabled. So here, if I turn it on or off, you can see very quickly what's enabled or not. Right now, on my Pipo analog, I have only set up a potentiometer, so a knob, connected to the input one. So I'm gonna disable the other channels, and I'm gonna save that. There's no autosave feature for now, so you need to save when you make changes. Now I'm gonna select back my first input, and I'm gonna rotate my knob. So as you can see here, that channel is selected and I'm viewing the data of this channel. If I keep turning my knob and select another channel, since there's no data, there's nothing to see. So we already covered the channel state, which is basically just turning on or off the channel. and that cursor tells you the live input value that the Pipo is currently reading. So as well here in the LR angles in the Pipo motion, if I move my Pipo, so I'm going to go to roll. Here you can see I see the angular value moving. So the next important section are those cursors that allows you to set the region of interest. Most of the time, when you use a sensor, you will probably not be interested in using the full range. So that allows you to determine where is your zero, where is your max, and that input range will be scaled to the output min and max. Also, you can apply basic transformations to your data. So here that's in options, and you can, for example, click invert. That's gonna invert the output versus the input. So when you are at max, the output will be at min and vice versa. Next, you have the binary mode that allows you to transform a continuous input into a binary output. Binary means it's going to be on or off. So if I toggle that, the output will be true, will be on when the value is within the cursors, and it's going to be off when it's outside. It's pretty simple, but very convenient to trigger events. Next is the cyclic mode. It's a bit of a special transformation that is very useful for Pipo motion because the data can be discontinuous, and cyclic allows you to transform discontinuous data into continuous data. Below, you will have the output settings for the selected channels. So here you can see the MIDI output settings. Currently I'm in continuous control, so it's like a knob. And you can set the MIDI channel, you can set the controller number you want to control, and the min and the max. You want to map your input min and max. You could also choose to convert that to a note scale or a note arpeggios, for example, but come back to that in a later video. On the OSC mode, the settings are a bit different, but they are very similar. As you can see, there is, for example, the raw output. If it's enabled, basically the Pipo sends right away the raw value that is read by the sensor, bypassing all the processing. If you untick it, you will access similar transformations that you have in MIDI. But because OSC is way less standardized as MIDI, you have way less settings. You can just define an address for your OSC message, and you can tell what is the min and the max output should be. Here it's written channel disabled because that channel here, as you can see, is disabled here. So if I enable it, the message will go off. So that's just helping you finding your way out more easily. And the last section contains factory presets. So if you messed up your configuration and you want to start fresh, you can always go back to the initial configuration you had when you received your Pipo. There are actually two different ones that you can use, and I'm gonna add more over time. But so you just select one, hit load, and it's gonna replace all the configurations you had. And that's it for the configuration page overview. See you in the next video.